the other camp, Paul continues trying to answer the boys on the radio. But there is no response, just static. Everyone is thoughtful, apprehensive, trying to find a way to help. At Camp Will, Gordon and Sally are sitting by the fire, trying to think of an alternative way to get out of that place. Gordon thinks for a moment. Sooner Sally gets up. Sally goes to the tent, taking the opportunity to take one last look at Nora. When she opens the tent to enter, she notices that the side of the tent is open and Nora is completely still. But Nora doesn't move. Sally puts her face close to Nora, but she isn't breathing. She then panics and screams. Will and Gordon run to the tent. Sally is crying, and as soon as they enter, they notice the side of the tent open. Gordon leaves the tent and takes a backpack that is leaning against a log near the fire. Sally collects some things from the tent while crying and Will collects the knives and the axe. They gather in front of the fire. Will hands Gordon a knife. They enter the woods and head towards the camp. Everything in the forest is very scary, the noises, the trees shaking, the darkness. They are already scared by everything that has been happening. Every detail only scares them even more. Will is in front, Sally is right behind, and Gordon last, all alert and attentive. In the middle of the walk, they start to hear noises, whispers. It sounds like someone talking. Will motions for them to stop and raises his hand asking for silence. Gordon and Sally also hear the voices. They start looking around, but they can't see anything. It's still night and the forest is very thick, so the dark gets even worse. After a few moments of silence, without seeing anything, they resume their walk when suddenly someone appears in front of Will, and in an immediate instinct for survival, he attacks with the flashlight, giving a clear blow, and the person falls to the ground. "Paul?" someone exclaims in fright. Will approaches and then can see that it is Paul and Rena. Then he quickly bends down and helps Paul to get up. He still dizzily nods his head. Rena is shocked and soon starts looking everywhere, fearing for their safety. Paul takes over the walk now. He and Rena are at the front and leading the others. They walk attentively, and after a few minutes they are back at their camp. Jonas is sitting in front of the fire and gets up when he sees them arriving. Will and Sally hug each other and sit in front of the fire. Gordon comes close to Julia's body and stands there, watching sadly and thoughtfully. Rena helps Paul sit down. Elise, hearing the voices, leaves her tent, approaches everyone, and when she sees Paul hurt, she gets scared. Jonas walks away with his hands on his head. Everyone is around the fire, Paul, and will watch everything around carefully. Everyone is apprehensive and exhausted. Gordon taps Sally on the shoulder, getting her attention. Elise heads to her tent late into the night. Everyone is exhausted and almost dozing off. Then they hear a noise in the middle of the forest, and everyone gets up scared and stays alert when Sally sees a hooded man in the middle of the trees watching them. Sally points in the direction she saw the man. Everyone looks closely but sees nothing. Everyone is apprehensive. Will sits down with Sally again, and she hugs her knees in torment. Will gets up and goes to Paul and suggests they check it out. Rena agrees. Paul thinks for a moment and ends up agreeing. He stands up while signaling the others to stay alert. They proceed silently to the location indicated by Sally and cautiously look for meanwhile in Elise's tent. Elise is restless, completely terrified. When she suddenly sees a shadow behind her tent and gets scared, she remains motionless in the hope that whoever is outside won't notice her when suddenly the tent's zipper starts to open. Elise takes a deep breath and tries to calm down. Meanwhile, Paul and Will continue searching through the trees and find nothing. They return to the bonfire and everyone gets up. In Elise's tent. Not long later, she sees the shadow again and smiles. The shadow remains motionless. Elise continues to watch and the man doesn't move. Elise realizes something is wrong and starts to panic. She slowly approaches the zipper to open it.